What's up, guys, and welcome back to Wake Up Entertainment. So, Brigadier has one big problem, a problem of using evidence that is inadmissible in court. This evidence is not allowed to be used in court, but somehow Brigadier Gininda is continuing with this behavior of using this evidence. And finally, Advocate Mnisi called out Brigadier Gininda not to continue using this evidence.
But furthermore, my lord, one should not also be ignorant of the assertion that was made by JJ1 and HH and JJ. One could not be ignorant of that fact that if that assertion is correct, to say the trigger point is the person mentioned there, then one needs to be cautious of what that person says when he speaks to the police.
And
thank you. A very quick one on your constant reference to Exhibit HH and JJ. As this was a prosecutor-led investigation, I have reasons to believe that it must have been brought to your attention that there are rules that are governing the applicability. There are rules of law that are governing the applicability of the operation of a confession insofar as co-perpetrators are concerned, not so?
My lord, we didn't get there, and I don't think it was necessary. I am aware that you can't use the confession, for example, of accused two. It can't be admissible when they are accused. That I'm aware. But it does not mean, my lord, you cannot collaborate and follow what is mentioned in that confession. That's a different approach, my lord.
So as you just saw there, Brigadier Gininda was warned by Advocate Mnisi not to use these confessions against other accused because it's inadmissible evidence. So it turns out Brigadier Gininda actually knows this, that this evidence is inadmissible against another accused with regards to the NPA. So it's actually surprising that Brigadier Gininda knows exactly what he is doing when he is bending the rules at some of the times. And in his defense there, he said he is using those confessions as corroboration evidence to actually use the word that Gininda uses himself. So the challenge with Brigadier Gininda in using this evidence as corroboration evidence, when looking at the law specifically, it requires that these confessions, they can implicate other accused directly, then maybe you can use that confession as corroboration evidence. But the evidence that he has, it doesn't like directly implicate these other accused. But irregardless of all of that, Brigadier Gininda is going ahead and using this evidence as corroboration evidence to link up with other pieces of evidence. So Gininda is not even practicing caution when it comes to using this corroboration evidence. And he was actually answering a question that had been asked by Advocate Mnisi, and was referring directly to the confession that was made by another accused in answering an answer to another accused who did not confess. But to some extent, obviously, Brigadier Gininda is a little bit justified to use these confession statements because he is arguing that these guys were acting in common purpose. So if they were acting in common purpose, and one of the guys amongst those, the five of them, he then becomes a confessor who speaks the truth and reveals everything, then surely that is something big that can be used to unravel this whole thing. But obviously it has to be challenged because the defense is working their case for the accused, and they definitely can challenge that. And the interesting thing that I saw was that when Advocate Mnisi sort of cautioned Brigadier Gininda about using these confession statements, Brigadier Gininda didn't argue much because you could see that what he was doing. Because one of the reasons why these confession statements cannot be used against another accused is because one of the accused can have ulterior motives against another person. So those confession statements, they have to be taken like with a serious grain of salt, because what is needed is to have a fair trial where if somebody is caught that, okay, they are guilty, there is no question and no one is going to remain with any question to say, okay, what about this or that? If you are caught guilty, then you are guilty. If you are not guilty, then you are not guilty. So overall, looking at this current situation, it's unacceptable for Gininda to refer to these confession statements when he is being asked about an accused who did not confess, because this is during a cross-examination and advocate Mnisi is asking Brigadier Gininda about accused number 3, his client. And Gininda goes on to talk about the confession statements. It just doesn't make any sense, even though he can use the confession statements as corroboration evidence. But overall, Gininda should stick to evidence that links accused number 3. So yes, it is difficult to find evidence for each and every accused. For example, Gininda has to be finding evidence for each and one of these 5 accused that links them without going specifically to this corroboration evidence. It's not easy, it's hard, but this is the task that he has been tasked with, and he has to find a way to find that evidence and to do a lot of research. So instead, what Gininda can do is to gather additional evidence, like for example, fingerprint examination and more ballistic testing, and looking at all the banking and financial records for all of these accused, and even re-interview the witnesses who are actually even in the house. Those are actually the ways that he can actually do this and actually do further questioning, or even go to even identify new witnesses, because there are actually some people actually out there who actually saw what happened and know what happened around this case, and may be afraid to come forward to reveal this information. So that is what Gininda can do, and actually maybe promise to provide them with witness protection, that nothing will harm them if they come forward and provide the evidence that he needs in this case. So tell me what you think in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.